Hi Grammar 3, Mrs. Van Heusen here. Thank you for joining me again for another lesson on art online. I really miss seeing you guys. Here is a little joke to lighten up the mood. Why was 8 afraid of 7? You guys know? Because 7, 8, 9. Get it? Anyway, come join me for a lesson on 1-point perspective. So before you guys start this, I have drawn it out already, but before you start it, I'm going to try my best to put a Word document online to explain this to you in more detail. I'm going to go over with you what to do. I'm going to start with a pencil and trace over the lines that I've already done. And then with a Sharpie, I will trace over some of the other things that need to be outlined in a Sharpie, because some of these lines need to get erased. So a 1-point perspective means that whatever you're looking at gets smaller and smaller until it vanishes, which is funny because this is called the vanishing point. And the vanishing point is a point on the horizon. We all know the horizon line is usually in the middle of our paper, and that's where your land meets the sky, and this is called a horizon. So for this lesson, you guys need to know what parallel lines are. And parallel lines are lines going in the same direction that never touch. For example, these two lines are parallel, if you can see. And then these two lines are parallel. If they keep going, they will never, ever touch. So we need to know this for the lesson. So step 1, you're going to need your ruler. This is important for this class. You're going to need a pencil, a black Sharpie, or a black marker that you can trace with, an eraser, and colored pencils, markers, crayons, whatever you guys have on hand to color with. Step 1, we are going to find the middle of our paper, and we are going to draw the horizon line with our pencil. This is something you need to do in pencil. Well, you have to do the whole thing in pencil, and then you trace it like we do in class. All right, so this is my horizon line. So that's the first step you're going to do. This is step 1. Find your horizon line and draw it. So you're going to have one line going across the middle of your page. Step 2 is you're going to put a vanishing point or a dot right in the middle of that horizon line, which is right in the middle of your paper. So bam, this is my horizon line, my vanishing point. From that vanishing point, you need to make lines going to each corner of the paper. So I'll start with this top left corner up here. So I'm going to put my pencil in the middle on my vanishing point, and I'm going to put my edge of my ruler right here in the top left corner, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. Don't make these lines super dark. I'm making them dark so you can see them, but these lines that I'm drawing now will all get erased. So we don't want to make it dark so they're easier to erase. Okay, so now we need to draw the other line to the top right corner of our paper. So now we have 1, 2, 3 lines in our paper. We need 2 more. Now we need to draw 2 lines from the vanishing point to the bottom corners of our paper. So let's get that done. And put a good amount of pressure on your ruler. I like to put my pencil on my vanishing point first. That way it's there. Put pressure on your ruler so it doesn't slide when you try to draw. And lastly, my last line to my vanishing point. Bam. So we have our horizon and 4 lines going from that horizon to each corner of your paper. This is a guideline for you to draw your buildings and your trees that vanish and get smaller towards the horizon. Step 2 is you're going to be drawing these bricks for the sidewalk. So once again, you want to start at the vanishing point and draw your lines. So I'm going to draw mine and tell you how it's supposed to look. So it gets smaller and narrower towards the horizon, so you can't even see any lines here. It's the same line that we drew in the first place. And then I did the second line, which is getting thicker towards the bottom. And try to make these lines even on both sides. So don't make one super thick and the other one super thin. They need to be symmetrical. Symmetrical means they need to be the same on both sides. So now you have your road. If you want to make these bricks, you can, but you do not have to. All I did here was I just took my ruler and I made lines on this sidewalk, and then I just kept going and used my ruler to make these lines, getting smaller and smaller and smaller and closer together to the vanishing point. You don't have to do that. You can just go ahead and color these gray when you color them in, and then it'll still look like a sidewalk. So if that's too much trouble, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is we're going to divide our sidewalk with these dividers. So you find your vanishing point and you want to put your ruler there and make a straight line. But you need to break up your line. You break it up, and these dividers get bigger and longer the closer they come to you. The further away from you they go, they get skinnier and further apart. So that's important. So this is all step 1, 2, and 3. So from then on, I am going to continue with a Sharpie so you can see, but I want you guys to continue with your pencil and do what we do in class and go back and trace over it when you're done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start drawing my trees on the left-hand side of my paper. So to draw our trees is I'm going to use the edge of my paper as a guideline to make my lines parallel to it. So that means all of my lines that I'm about to draw need to be straight, vertical lines that are the same as the edge of the paper. So I'm going to start from the edge of my sidewalk that I just drew. I'm going to draw a straight line up past my horizon line. And then I'm going to draw a tree trunk. So a couple lines in the shape of a V for my tree trunk. So that's one. And then I'm going to do a space, which is about, I would say, the width of your finger. So put your finger there. So this is a space. And then you're going to draw 2 lines, which are parallel. This is going to be your tree. Okay? And then once again, you want to go a little past the horizon line and make your branches. So instead of 2, I did 3 branches here. And then I'm going to do another space and do 2 more lines straight up for my tree. If it helps you to label them, you can do that with your pencil. Make sure you don't do it with a Sharpie. I'm doing it with a Sharpie so you can see. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my tree trunk. So this is just another V, and I only did 1 of them. So then I have another space, finger width, and you're going to do 1, 2 more for your trunk. This is your tree. You want to go ahead and do a little bit of a branch. Once again, space, tree. Now this tree barely goes over the horizon. Barely. Space. This is your tree. Space. And then tree. But I don't do any trunks, any branches, because it's getting further apart and less detailed. The further an object goes, the less detail you're going to see. Space. 1 more tree. Space. Tiny little tree. Okay, let's go to our first tree. This is our tree number 1 that we drew, which the other side of it is your paper. The other side of the tree trunk is the side of your paper. So let's start with this tree, and I want to give it a top, a crown. So these are going to be organic shapes. Don't make these look like Q-tips. So you just want to do organic curves. So number 2, second tree. I'm going to do that. Third tree. We can just go like that. Forest tree. And you see how these trees are parallel to this line, this X line that we drew? See how they're getting closer to the vanishing point? So these tree crowns are getting smaller and smaller. You see that? This is the biggest one, this one's smaller, this one's smaller, this one's smaller, this one's smaller, and they all get smaller until they're pretty much at the vanishing point. So these are all your trees. You can kind of go back and do little W's to make the leaves connect to the branches. And then when we color it, it'll look really great. So we did all of our trees. Now we're gonna start with our buildings. So I want you to focus on how we're gonna do our buildings. So this is what I did. I kind of did a pattern. So I started up here, just maybe about an inch. I can even measure for you. Yep, about 1 inch from the top corner of my paper, I went down. So this is an inch, and I just put a little dot there. So from the top right corner of my paper, I went 1 inch down and put a mark there. Then what I did, number 1, is draw a straight line to the left until it touches your X line. When you made the X line, see how it touches it right here? That's my stopping point. I stop. Number 2 is going to be a diagonal line down, which is parallel to the X line. It's the same as this X line. It's parallel. So number 1 is going to be straight to the left. Number 2 is going to be parallel with our X line. Number 3 is going to be straight down to touch our sidewalk. That's number 3, straight down to touch our sidewalk. Number 4, at the intersecting point where line 1 and 2 meet, at this little intersection right here, you see where line 1 and 2 meet? I'm going to do my number 4 line, which also comes straight down almost to my sidewalk. Well, I guess you can make it down, all the way down to your sidewalk. So that's number 4. It's going to go straight down. So number 1 goes to the left, straight. Number 2, diagonal down. Number 3, straight down. Number 4, straight down. And number 5 is going to go to the edge of your paper, and it's a straight line going to the right. Ta-da! So this is number 5. Straight line going to the right. And then you can kind of trace this. So that is how I make my house. We can do it again. We're going to start a little below where our house is over here, just a little ways below. We're going to do the same thing. Number 1, to the left. Number 2, diagonal. Number 3, straight down. Number 4, straight down. Number 5, to the right. And that is our second house. Let's do it one more time, a little lower. You see how your houses are getting smaller as they get further and further into the vanishing point? Do that one more time. Start a little below. Number 1, to the left. Number 2, diagonal down. Number 3, straight down. Number 4, straight down. Number 5, straight to the right. There is your house. And if you want to do another little one back here, you can. There's a tiny one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's do our roofs. To do your roof, you don't worry about this part of your house. We're just looking to this side of our house. The side of our house, right here. So this is the part we're looking at. Forget this part right now. We're just gonna make a triangle. 1 triangle. Here's our triangle. So go back and make your triangle on this house. Make your triangle on this house. And tiny little triangle here. So that's it. And now, at the tip of your triangle, we're just going to draw a straight line to the right. Tip of our triangle, straight line to the right till it touches the other house. Straight line to the right. Straight line to the right. So these are our houses. So now what you can do, you don't need any of these lines anymore. So before you erase though, you need to go back and trace all of your house lines and all of your trees with a Sharpie. Trace your road with a Sharpie, trace this middle part with a Sharpie, and then you can go back and erase all of those unnecessary lines. That means this horizon line needs to go. All of the X lines that you drew to help you need to get erased. And we can talk about drawing windows. So I'm going to kind of go to this part. You know what? I would wait to erase. Don't erase yet. Don't erase your lines because you need these lines to help you with your windows. So scratch the erasing. Don't erase them yet. Keep them. You can erase them after we've drawn everything. Let's talk about how to draw windows. So I like to start with this side of the house, right here. So as you can see, we're going to start on this side where we drew the triangle for our roof. That's the face of the house that we need to focus on. So as you can see, all the red lines are parallel to this top line, and all the blue lines are parallel to this lower blue line. I color-coded them for you to make you easier to draw. So what I did was I drew two lines that are parallel to this, and then I just connected them. This is the trickiest window because one of the lines is parallel to the top line is parallel to the red, and the bottom line is parallel to the blue. So this is kind of what it looks like. So if you can see both of them, I'm going to kind of overlap so you can see how I draw it. So let's start with this top window. It's a little ways below this number 2 line that you drew. So we're going to make a line that's parallel to this top. Make another line that's exactly the same. So they're not straight lines, you guys. So make sure you understand that. They're not straight lines. They are parallel to this horizon line, this V line, this X line that you drew up here. So they're parallel to that. Or you can even say they're parallel to the top of the house. So parallel, parallel. And then you just connect them with a straight line. Make sure the line is straight down. Straight down. Use your ruler if you need to, if it's helpful. So that's our first window. Now we're going to draw the second window, which is the most tricky. One of the lines is parallel. The top line is parallel to this side of the house. See that? It's parallel. Now, the bottom line is going to be parallel to the bottom part of the house. So, it's going to look funny when you draw it. It kind of looks like a mouth opening. And then you're going to connect them with a straight line. So that's your second window. Now the third window, the bottom window, both of the lines are going to be parallel to the bottom of the house. So look at the bottom of your house. See that? So the lines are parallel to this bottom house. So 1, 2, and then you can connect them. So those are the 3 windows, and you can divide them any way you want. For example, you can divide this window in half. You can divide this window into quarters, and you can make this one have a little shade. You can divide it like this and draw a little shade to pull down on. So those are your 3 windows, and then the door. The door is also going to be parallel. This top line is going to be parallel to the bottom of the house. So parallel to the bottom, just like that. And then you want to draw your straight lines coming down. So that's your door. Draw a little door handle. So you see how I color-coded it for you. So if you need help, you can just look at what lines are parallel to which color. And then on this side of the house, the side that's facing you, they're just normal straight lines. Nothing is parallel to anything. It's just straight lines, like rectangles that you would normally draw. There we go. These are the rectangles that you normally draw. You don't have to worry about making anything parallel to anything else. So I'm going to do that one more time with you. And then hopefully you get it. So first window, the top line is parallel to the top of the house. The bottom line is parallel to the top of the house. Connect them with a straight line. Second window, the top is parallel to the top of the house. The bottom is parallel to the bottom of the house. So this is the funky looking window that looks like it's opening its mouth almost. Connect them with a straight line. And I'm just going to do 2 windows on this one. And then I'm going to do a door. And then once again, the door is parallel to the bottom of the house. And then connect them, the sides, with 2 straight lines. And then you can divide your windows, make a door handle. There we go. And then let's just do, I'm just going to do 1 regular window here. If you guys want to do more, you can. This is where you can get creative. You don't have to do as many windows as I have. You don't have to do it the way I did. So for this one, I'm just going to do a round window. Why not? We can have a nice round window, and we can do like an archway door. So there's just some different examples of how you can make them different. And these are really small, so I'm just going to do a really small window, just 1. And you can't even see anything here. I'm just going to put a dot for a window. So that's how you do the windows of the houses. All right, so now the last thing we have to do is draw the sun. And that's your semicircle peeking out. That's our sun. And I just did a few clouds. The clouds at the top are going to be bigger than the clouds on the bottom. So I did a straight line, and then I just did some curvy lines for my cloud. So I did 2 clouds. You can do 1 cloud, you can do 3 clouds, however many you want to do. And then, as you can see, this cloud is smaller than the top cloud, and these clouds are tiny because they're the furthest apart. So voila, this teaches you how to do 1-point perspective. Everything is going towards a vanishing point, if you remember that. Our horizon line is in the middle. You can't see it because you'll go back and erase. So trace everything with your Sharpie. Erase all of the pencil. And then you can color it any way you want. I'm just going to show you how I colored mine. This is what mine looks like. I colored all the houses a different color. Here are all the windows that we talked about doing. See, I only did 2 windows on this one. I did 3 windows here. Make it creative. Do it how you would like. Make oval windows. Some of them are oval. Some of them are square. Some of them can even be triangles. Why not? Here are all my trees. As you can see, these are nice organic shapes. They don't look like lollipops or Q-tips. They're all different, and they get smaller as they get further away. And my road is the opposite. It gets bigger as it gets closer to me, all the way to the vanishing point. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Have fun. Like I said, I'm going to put step-by-step instructions in a Word document, and you can look at that if that makes more sense to you. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will see you in a few weeks on another video. Bye, guys.